Hello, my dears. Daniela here, and welcome to Spa Marketing School. This is a new series brought to you by Addo Aesthetics, where we're talking about ways to generate more profit, to increase your profit margin in your business. I know a lot of times you're going to hear people talking about revenue and ways to increase revenue, and that's all fine and good, but I care so much more about the amount of money that goes back to you, the amount of money that goes into your pocket at the end of the day, right? As the entrepreneur, as the spa CEO, you are the person that is leading the ship. You're taking the risks. You're going on this emotional roller coaster ride. And I want to make sure that you are benefiting from this incredible journey that you're on. All right, so today we are diving into personality tests, and you're like, okay, well, what the heck does that have to do with profit? Stick with me here. I promise it actually does. And I think that the way that it connects is because knowing your team and knowing yourself on such a deep level is going to help you identify what position is right for the right person. You can have someone who's absolutely incredible and just what you would define as an A player in terms of personality. They're a team player. They're, super flexible in a fast growing environment. All these like things that you're like, yes, this is who I want on my team, but they just don't get, this particular thing. You can have an incredible person and have them in the wrong position. And so by using the personality test, that is a way that we can understand, what the strengths are and what the weaknesses are of an individual, including ourselves, um, and really just understand how they want to be treated. So I'm going to talk about those two different pieces today. Now, it is important to note that you are no longer able to use personality tests in the hiring process. And there was a lawsuit that was brought, and they actually won, that says you cannot use this to make a hiring decision. Um, and, I'm not going to get into all of that. I just always say follow the law. That is the law. But I have found that personality tests, if you're not using them in a hiring decision, use them in team development to help use it as a tool to help understand your team and the people on your team better. So, what I'm looking for in personality tests, my favorite one that I have used for years is the MBTI, Myers Briggs Type Indicator. And with this test, it's going to give you a series of 4 letters. So you're either going to be an E or an I. You're either going to be an N or an S. You're either going to be a T or an F. And for the 4th letter, you're either going to be a J or a P. If you Google Myers Briggs Type Indicator, there'll be a lot of information that comes up about it. There's a lot of organizations that use this particular test to understand their staff and their employees better. The US military uses this test. In fact, that was when I first did the really in-depth where you get like a 70-page result. It was at a military function. And so, for me, that it's like there's got to be something to this if they are using that. Okay. And for me, I've learned that, so I am an ESFJ and I'm a little e. So these all have kind of sliding scales, right? And right in the middle, there's extroversion and introversion. And I'm just on the other side of the E. I love small gatherings. So I love to have, we actually just had my dear, dear friend, Tara Zerker, her family had been staying with us for the past couple of days. And we had a house full of kids. There are 5 kids running around here and 4 adults, and it was just amazing. That I love. Take me to and that makes me feel energized. You take me to a concert with a bunch of people and I'm going to feel drained. Okay. So why is that important to know about our team? Well, we want the right people in the right positions. When we're looking at front desk, we need someone that really enjoys people, that can emotionally connect, the smiley, bubbly personality. This is going to be the person who is great at small talk, who loves connecting with others. That's going to be such a phenomenal person at the front desk. Doesn't mean other personality types can't do the front desk and can't do it well. It's just an added bonus if you have someone who's just really outgoing and energetic. It's just going to make that position even better. Okay. So important to understand the different personality types to see, do I have the right person in the right position? The next way that I use personality types, and this is, you may or may not have heard of the Love Languages book by Gary Chapman. So, Love Languages, it's actually a marriage book, but they created it into a love languages for work. And it's based around quality time, words of affirmation. There's all these different types that help to show how that person feels seen, heard, and valued. So if you have somebody who feels valued by words of affirmation, by acknowledgement, then you know that, like, this person, if you shout them out in the morning huddle, they're going to feel so seen. If you know someone that, or if you have someone on your staff that benefits from quality time by you really just checking in with them and asking them what's going on in their personal life. How are the kids? Did you have a great weekend? What'd you do? We don't have to get super in depth, but just showing an interest, and having some sort of connection can really make them feel seen, heard, and valued. So I love having these different tools to understand how I can best support my team, to understand how they perceive information. It allows me to be a better leader because it allows us to be able to communicate in a more effective way. And when your team is happier, they are going to be more productive. They just energetically, the entire workplace lifts up when your team members feel seen, heard, and valued. And so using the personality test is a great way to help you on that path to understand one another on a deeper level. So check them out. There's a lot out there. There's Enneagram, there's MBTI, tons of them, tons and tons and tons of personality tests. Ask ChatGPT, to give you a summary of some of the top personality tests out there. See which one aligns with you. DISC assessment, that one just popped up in my mind. I've taken all of them, but again, the one that really made the most sense to me, that when I looked at the description, I was like, oh my gosh, this is 100% me, was the MBTI. So check them out. Ask if anyone on your team would be interested in doing this as a team building activity. Ask if they want to fill out or do the love languages test for work to understand how to better communicate with one another. It really does build a strong dynamic. And again, happy teams create productive and profitable businesses.